Welcome to the JIGS TV Weekly Go News. My name is Stanisław Frejlak, and let's see what happened in the Go world in the last week. First of all, there were the quarterfinals of the Wuqing Yuan Cup. Wuqing Yuan is the Chinese name of Go Seigen. Wuqing Yuan Cup is a Go competition organized by a Chinese organizer, and it is an international competition for female professional players. Not only professional, because there are also representatives from Europe. This week there were already the quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, the only player from Japan we can see on the slide is Fujisawa Rina. She faced Yu Jiying, and Yu Jiying won. So it means that there are no Japanese representatives in the semifinals anymore. Yu Jiying is the finalist from the previous year, the runner-up. This time she is already in the semifinal, and in the semifinals there are also 3 other Chinese girls. Here we can see the Chinese female pros competing online. The interesting thing is that the champion from the last year, Zhou Hongyu, played against Chejong, the #1 female player in the world from Korea. And even though Zhou Hongyu was maybe the favorite after winning the last year's competition, the more experienced player, Chejong, managed to beat her. So she is the only non-Chinese player in the semi-final. But actually, probably saying that Zhou Hongyu was the favorite was too much, as Chejong also one time already managed to win Wuqing Yuan Cup 2 years ago. Here we can see Chejong. So let's wait for the semifinals and let's see if Chejong can make it. One more interesting photo I have from the South Korea. Here Chejong is entering the playing hall, and as you can see, she needs to leave away all the electronic devices, and she's checked by the metal sensors so that she doesn't bring anything which can give her a help of the AI. So such procedures are now applied on the big tournaments. All right. Let's move to the news from national tournaments in Asia. One thing, the most important of this week, is the GS Caltex Cup, a very prestigious Korean tournament. In the final, Pyeongchang-il, #3 in Korea, on the left, met with Shinjin-so. The first 2 rounds were played on Thursday and Friday. And we will soon look at the games. Here we can see Pyeongchang-il and Shinjin-so. Shinjin-so managed to win that tournament already 3 times in a row, and let's see if he can defend the title again. So far 2 games were played, and the next 2 games will take place next Thursday and next Friday. Okay. So here is the first one where Shinjin-so was black, and let's take a look. The game started with a Moyo strategy applied by Pyeongchang-il, and then black decided to pull out the stone on the left. What did white do with it? Well, black managed to add a few stones on the left side, and white decided it's impossible to try to kill this group. So in the end, white was just happy with taking the influence. However, it meant that also black took center. Black took center and tried to use it to reduce white's influence, but because white's walls are so strong, now white started very sharp play by attaching 1 time, 2nd time, and after a few moves, white managed to cut off the wall of black. This looked really risky for black. However, in the end, black managed to make a life and white managed to get something on the outside. The game started looking very calm right now, but white was still left with that enormous influence, and white thought that he needs to do something with it, to use it somehow. So white played very aggressive moves, attachments, and tried to make them give some profit. And later white continued very sharply by taking the eyes of the dragon of Shinjinso, of the group of Shinjinso, and Shinjinso couldn't resist this attack, and in the end the big dragon of Shinjinso died. So the game finished quite spectacularly. Pyeongsang-il took the lead in the GS Caltex Cup final. Then they met in the second game. Of course, in the second game, Pyeongsang-il was black. And this game started with a very fancy opening by Pyeongsang-il, after which Shinjinso approached the corner from far away and the position stabilized like this. Black took a big strength, but white settled, more or less. Then Shinjinso continued with a very modern move. How to play now? He attached in the corner. This is an interesting asking move. If black takes the corner, which should be the first intuition of every player, then white can get something on the side, and this time it's useful because this way white can attack the stone of black. In the game, black used the move from the other side and just made some framework on the left, but then white created a living group in the corner. Black later tried to attack it, but white just settled. And in fact, maybe this can be considered sente, at least somehow, at least sometimes, because black's shape is a bit thin. However, black decided to not add a move, and then white immediately cut black's shape and attacked black's groups pretty severely. You can see that now black is split. So black has a bit of trouble. If black goes out with this group, then that group dies. And then black used two moves which might be not intuitive for many players, or at least should be, because they are considered a very bad shape. First of all, black peeped on the cutting point. This is something which is most often really not advised, because the cutting point can be used otherwise. However, now it was very important to go out with the group, and then black used an empty triangle and only then got out with the other group. So in the end, black managed to be out with both groups. And the next interesting thing is in this game was when white was trying to use somehow the weaknesses of black's shapes, and white peeped, and then black didn't answer as probably all players would, but instead what Pyeongsang-il did was fixing the shape on the top, and then still white was not eager to start the fight somehow. So what did white do? White prepared a bit and only then connected. After this, the game started accelerating and it became more and more chaotic. Black, for example, cut the white shape here. In the end, white managed to get something out of it, to live in the corner, but then black was attacking white. First on the right side, white managed to make two eyes, and then black cut off the 4 stones, which white had to sacrifice. White sacrificed, and then the group of Pyeongsang-il was in a big danger. It doesn't really have eyes, it needs to run, but instead of running, Pyeongsang-il chose a more aggressive plan. He tried to attack the group of white, so he cut the group of white, but then the group of black was also cut. And in the end, there was a semi-eye, a capturing race. Black made 1 eye, but then white managed to actually make 2 eyes and live. So this meant that the huge dragon of black was dead, and the second game also finished spectacularly. Which means that after 2 games, the result is 1-1. Good evening, Fledermaus. After 2 games, the result is 1-1. It is best of 5, so the next 2 games we will watch next week. They will be played on Thursday and Friday. Alright, another news from Korea is the match between the rookies team, youth talents team, and the women's team. It was a win and continue competition. Up to this year, there were 2 times where the youth players won and 1 time where the female team won, as far as I checked. And this time, the first 2 games were won by the females team, but then Moon Min-jong was playing for the youth team, and he won all the remaining games. In the last game, he beat Oh Yoo-jin, and the youth talents team won 5-2. All right. Then a news from Taiwan about the Shiduan tournament. You can see it is written behind the players Shiduan Sai, which means the 10 dan, like Judan in Japanese. This tournament is played in a classical format with the winner, with the title holder waiting for the challenger. And the challenger tournament is a double elimination. Wang Yinjun, who we can see on the right, was playing in the losers brackets already a few games after he lost to Xiao Zhenghao, but now he met Xiao Zhenghao again. We can see him on the left in the losers brackets final, and he won, which means that Wang Yuanjun will face Lin Junyan in the challenger decision match, and we will see who will challenge Xu Haohong for the Judan title. All right, now news from Europe. There were 2 big Go camps in Europe the last 2 weeks. One was in France, and there were many participants, mainly from France, but there were also very strong teachers, and they were not only French. There was Ali Jabarin, professional second dan, Tanguy Le Calvet, he is French, first dan professional, and Luca Neyring, who is the current French Open Go champion. He is from Belgium and he is 6th dan. So this was a very big Go camp. And I have one more news about a Go camp which happened in Poland. It's called Polish Summer Go School, and it is held in a lovely place among trees in a forest next to the lake. Here we can see one of the teacher, Maksym Wałaszewski, in the red t-shirt, explaining to one of the groups something about a game, probably a pro game, as far as I know the teaching style of Maksym. On the Summer Go Camp in Poland, we have a very interesting system of a few groups of different levels, and each of the groups meets with a teacher who explains them on their level, comments their games, and so on. I was also a teacher on the Summer Go School, and it was a great experience as each year. I also had 2 lectures and a Tsumego competition, so I encourage everyone to come. Here we can see that not all the games were played at the table, because sometimes the players preferred to play in nature. Here Cezary, the 4th dan player, is playing against Maksym, one of the teachers, and there was also a Polish Pergo Championship and many other tournaments. So yeah, welcome everyone next year to come. By the way, this year we had quite a few international participants, so the group study sessions were often done in English. For example, there was Renate Reisenegger, who was our correspondent from South America, and there were quite a few more players who also I know from the JIGS TV Tsumego competition and so on, so I was very happy to see them. All right, another news from Europe, or not only from Europe, but from the Western Go world, is the Transatlantic Professional Go League, where we had 2 groups, and now the group stage is finished. In the first group, the first place was taken by Ilya Shikshin, 4th dan professional, and the second place by Artem Kachanovsky, 2nd dan professional. Why the first 2 places matter? Because these 2 players go out from the group and go to the knockout stage. In the group B, and I think the last game from Group A was played this weekend. It was Oscar Vasquez against Artem. Actually, if Oscar had won this game, he would take the second place. But Artem managed to win both games, so Artem is second. And in the League B, Ryan Lee managed to win all his matches. Congratulations, and he is first. And the second place is taken by Tanguy Le Calvet. So now Tanguy will play the semi-final against Ilya Shikshin, and Ryan Lee against Artem Kachanovsky. We can't wait for the next games. And that's it about the news from Europe. By the way, another Go event in Europe, which will happen in the upcoming weeks, is first of all the big Hungarian Go camp with also many strong teachers, which starts right now. I think it already started today or yesterday. It is 1 week, and a 1 week camp, and there will be a Grand Prix tournament in The Hague next weekend, so you can still register and go. It will be a big tournament. There are many strong players registered, and in total I think almost 50 players. So nice that there are offline events finally. And also the next youth event, the Seigo Tour event, will take place in the end of August in Romania, Vatra Dornei. Dutch Open in The Hague will happen next weekend. It's a 3 days tournament from Friday to Sunday, but you can register not for all the days. However you want. You can also register for 1 day and get a smaller entry fee. Interesting Dutch system. All right. So that's it about the news and about the announcements. Tsumego, we don't have new Tsumegos this week, as we didn't get solutions for the from last week. So still these are the problems. Please take a look at them. You can win prizes from JIGS if you reach the 75 point threshold, and each week you can get 9 points by solving 3 problems correctly. So I encourage you to take part in the Tsumego competition, and that's it for today. So thank you for listening, and see you next week after the Dutch Open. I will report about how it was there. Alright, see you and bye bye.